loss on Olaf. That was in week 5 in a play. But all the way through champion select right quick, LeBlanc makes it.
Well, these are fast. Both sides have done their picks right now. LeBlanc, after we mentioned that she was undefeated, has lost, I believe, 3 games in a row in the LCS, but it has been banned 8 times against CLG because Link got to play it once in week 4 and just absolutely dominated on it.
Yeah. That was not something that any other team wanted to see again. We knew Hotshot was one to be playing it. He was in the mid lane, so a lot of these bans revolve around different people.
Yeah.
If you remember, CLG, just like XDG, has been doing a little swapping, but for different reasons.
I think it was really critical for Curse to get Vi away from Dexter as well.
Yeah.
It's something that Dexter has shown the most comfort on as far as picks go. And I was actually watching solo queue last night, and Dexter was playing a lot of Jungle Eve, something he's been practicing a lot of. He was banned against Xmithy, tremendous amounts of early game potential, very weird build paths coming in. They hover over, but they don't decide to pick it yet.
We see Dexter picking up the Renekton. The Sivir comes in. We saw that banned out last game. And Doublelift has been enjoying that. Played in weeks 4 and 5. He is 2-0.
Especially CLG when they can use their communication and then abuse the incredible movement speed that Sivir can grant. Also, as we heard from Doublelift earlier, they don't necessarily respect the bottom end of Curse, so they're willing to pick Sivir blind, even though Cop could pick a potential lane bully. Talking with a lot of AD carry players, that Sivir versus Draven lane is 90-10 in the favor of Draven most of the time. He just beats him up. Caitlyn is in a similar space right there where they just beat Sivir in lane when both are played optimally. But that's what Doublelift and Afro are confident they can do, is just play better.
Very interesting that they have the support being left up so long here for CLG. Afromu's like, yeah, we're fine. Thresh is still up. Looks like they got a Leona on their 3rd pick in. We're good to go. We do need that jungler. Looking for what Dexter wants here. This is actually one of the times that Dexter has let his jungler go later as well.
Yeah. Kha'Zix would be a possibility. Yeah, it depends on the support. They decide to go Thresh, unbelievably, is still on the board. That is almost a no-brainer for Afromu. He's played it 2 times, undefeated on Thresh thus far. And I would expect either that Eve or the Kha'Zix coming out from Dexter, but they're taking their time.
Dexter has been having a huge impact on the early game First Bloods, just fight initiations overall. Kha'Zix is one of the champions that will be able to do that for him. He can pretty much 1v1 if he wants to here.
Yeah, if he gets ahead, it'll be a very dangerous moment for the Curse lineup. Leona, the Soul Lockdown.
Very cool, very cool. That's a new one for him.
Syndra's not the type of mid laner you pick when you're fooling around with her. She is incredibly difficult and so punishing when you play her wrong. Xpeke could tell you all about that. He had a 0-6-0 Syndra game a couple weeks back in the European LCS. This will be Voyboy's first Syndra game of the split. Syndra has probably higher burst actually than LeBlanc if the combo was landed properly.
Yeah.
But man, that is a very bold pick by Curse right off the bat. The rest of the team is a good team fight composition. Syndra more that single target burster who sometimes has a good bit of AoE damage, but is mainly just a lane monster.
That's going to be scary for Voyboy. He's got that LeBlanc and the Kha'Zix to look after. Both can be blown up, like we said, but what's the decision? Who do you let die? Because I don't think you're saving both of them.
I know. I really wonder, since Syndra is such a punishing, almost high-reward champion, but a lot of really difficult to land skill shots, against someone as mobile as LeBlanc who can just dip in and out that quickly, he's going to have his hands full in that matchup. And he picked it last, into LeBlanc, too. Something
we haven't seen very often or ever before, really, in the LCS. Yep. The champs are locked and loading. Let's see who you guys think is going to grab this win. According to LOLesports.com, 78% of you think that CounterLogic Gaming will be victorious.
Trying to tie their 3-game winning streak record for CLG. Dexter looking to extend as well. Link was our MVP last week. He's on LeBlanc. Set up to succeed, I'd have to say, in this one. Curse has not been looking good lately, but, you know, today has taught us anything. I mean, anything can happen. What happened in that first game with XGG?
And knowing that Syndra has kind of the ball stun, being able to scatter the weak, how is she with escaping ganks? Because not too many escapes there in that kit.
Very difficult in a sense. If you time your knockaway with your stun properly, you shut the gank down before it starts, Basically, Voyboy has to use Scout of the Week as Dexter is leaping towards him in order to stop it from going through, but the timing on that is incredibly exacting. So if Voyboy does well, it's amazingly impressive.
Yeah, we heard that. High risk, high reward. Well, it's all on Voyboy for that to happen. He is one of our players to watch. Cop could find himself in a pretty scary position. Just a few seconds. Just about 900 range away, the entire team of Counter Logic Gaming.
Let's see. Thresh Hook would maybe force a flash if they do this right. Depends. Cop's looking pretty aware right now, dancing around in that brush. I wonder how long they'll wait. When they're grouped up like this, they either go early to get ward positioning, in which case they'd wait a little bit longer on their trinkets, or they wait until about a minute 45 or a minute 50 and try and disrupt the jungle start. Because oftentimes, the jungler starts where the AD carry and support start because they get a higher quality pull and take less damage. Looks like they're going for the delayed option.
Cop's got some dance moves. Afro move. Moving out. Looks like he's going to walk this one back. So they're a little split here for protection on Cop. Ward for ward. It looks like they aren't able to clear that out.
They don't even go all the way to get the ward in the brush.
Vision. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been scary.
A little bit scared of the counterattack because they didn't have all 5 people there.
Again, back to the top lane. He'll fare off against Quaz quite easily on Renekton. We've seen the Renekton Shiv. We'll see it a few times in the lane, but mainly watching this Link versus Voyboy throughout the game. Just mentioned a few minutes ago, Voyboy is our one to watch, and so is Link, though. He has been playing extremely well with or without the help of Dexter.
Ooh, a lot of early potential aggression. Obviously, these guys are jockeying for level 2 in the lane. It's very important to get that first lane shoving as an AD carry and support combo. Voyboy is going to look to get a lot of harass down early. But as we saw from actually High last game, his early game LeBlanc was incredibly aggressive. He was jumping on top very, very early with distortions. I wonder if Link will do the same.
Well, Voyboy doesn't have a shield like Lulu does on Syndra, so he'll definitely be taking all the brunt of that damage. Bottom lane, Double Lift, getting a little bit of a push here. He's still going for last hits, but they're making sure to keep the aggression on.
It's very tricky to get all your early last hits on Sivir. With those ricochets, it's very difficult to not accidentally get a minion low. Since once those things start ricocheting around, they're doing
once that
60% damage.
Fourth wave piles up with Siege and you have caster minions throwing shots everywhere, it just gets so hectic. You know what happens. 3 minutes onto this one, Voyboy getting a good clear onto his wave as that third wave with the Siege does come through. Only a little bit of a gold lead as the CS teeters back and forth in favor of either side.
Yeah, not too much coming out of the early game. Kha'Zix, slightly more potent ganks. He really thrives when the game becomes chaotic, more so than anything else, whereas Dominate wants to wait until about level 6 to get going on Vi. CLG, even though they've been a little bit more explosive lately, don't necessarily need to gank before level 6 for things to work. Their laners are pretty strong, especially in this matchup when they pick Renekton LeBlanc and a shoving Sivir Thresh. Every single one of those lanes can kind of handle their own stuff.
Right now,
Dominate. Did not see him.
Yeah.
Which means Nien has a false sense of security right now until Dominate walks to the board.
Well, they do have a ping that just went up top. They're kind of alerting Nien to something, or whether that was Nien ping. He'll have his slice and dice to get out of anything scary. Right now, a level ahead on Quas. You can see how much he's just forcing these minions down to keep that level and to keep Quas at bay. No pressure from Dominate, though. They both know that this lane's going to be Nien with the CS lead for a little bit. Looking in that mid lane, we got a ward coming in from Voyboy. He may go aggressive quite soon. We'll see what Dominate's path actually is now with that ward.
Yeah, he's just going to keep farming up. Same with Dexter. Dexter's already shopped for the Spirit Stone. Huge for Kha'Zix to get.
Right.
Ooh, some aggression down bottom. Level 3 is Leona's strong point.
Afro move, getting hit up a little bit. Nice flay backwards. Double Lift gets an extra shot in there. Yeah, I guess they won't be ganking Link too much until they hit 6. Too safe.
Especially... especially with the Vi needing to hit 6. Very, very important.
Right now, he's 4-4 with Dexter. Even levels there, as it looks like Dominate backs. I don't know if Dexter's going to do a lane walk in on this one. They have a good pressure on it. We'll see if they try to get anything in kills there. 33-33 in the mid lane. Nobody's really able to break away just yet.
Very nice knockback.
Yeah, but that was the play we were kind of waiting for. Will he be able to get the distortion stun? And he does.
Dexter hoping to catch Saint on his next Zenith Blade because he's shown a tendency to do it. Dexter's not going to wait around too long, though, I don't think. Especially with Doublelift throwing out that Boomerang Blade. Would be the time right now for Saint to go in, knowing the damage is down. They actually hook him in. Let's see the gank.
That is the time. A very nice play as well. They get the flash. That's what they're working with. The kill may not be able to come up here. An exhaust comes out on a Dexter to shut down some damage. Good play from CLG.
Both summoners down for nothing, though, meaning the repaint gank could happen. Link taking a lot of damage from Voyboy.
Link finding in that trade of damage that he's always stunned on the follow-up. So he's got to be careful with what really happens. They're both low in mana, so they're giving each other the last bit of damage they can. It's already been Voyboy backing, though. He's got 2 rings, so he looks to stay here. It's going to be a back soon for Link. He's yet to do that.
Yeah, Voyboy really wants to hit level 6 before Link goes back. Now that he has a little bit of mana as well, he wants to not let him shop, and they might want to try a tower dive here. They're getting very aggressive. If he lands a stun, it could be right now.
Voyboy took the aggro right off the bat, and it looks like he's going to be in a bad situation. Goes double deep on the turrets.
Wow. Link really outplayed Voyboy there. Voyboy could not get in range to cast his ultimate. And then I believe by the time he came back, he got silenced. It was just a total outplay by Link right there in the mid lane.
Curse going really heavy. They have the wards necessary down on that Wraith side to see where Dexter was, but they still chose to go. That was Dominate without 6, getting a little ahead of themselves. Looks to go for his Wraith camp here, but we see Dexter taking advantage of this now.
Yes, and they know the Dominate is in the mid lane, so the risk of a counter gank is non-existent. Another level 6, Renekton coming in.
Dominate goes on right for the turret damage, and it looks like Quas is going to be able to do a nice Dragon's Descent. Keeps himself alive with the pushback.
CLG missed that by a fraction of a second. By the time Dexter came in, Quas was actually level 5 and could not get his Dragon's Descent. When he hits 6, he immediately fills up his Rage Bar. He also gets more armor and magic resistance, and he can jump away. If that gank was 5 seconds earlier, it would have been a clean kill for CLG.
We'll see if Voyboy can get what he needs here. A level 6 may be hit by Dominate. He just got his red, but it was actually equaled out by Dexter too. I think Dexter might be backing. We may see Dominate try to get another gank in mid now that they finally have 6, but he heads toward the top side. He's going to do a little janitor duty on the CS.
One last thing to point out about that gank in the top lane, though, is because of the depth that Dexter went to in the jungle, he got a very deep pink ward. I really wonder how long that's going to last for I Will Dominate. It'll most likely catch him anytime he goes into his red buff and give CLG a lot of knowledge. You almost never get the opportunity to place a ward that deep, so the enemy team almost never looks for it.
Yeah, how often do you walk through that
brush? Really long time. Exactly.
Not very often. Even when you're trying to get around the map and you're being pushed back, you still don't walk through a lot of the brush in your jungle. 1-0 as CLG's making some moves. They've been able to grab the early advantage in most of their games here. And now they're looking to make it 3 consecutive wins. So far, so good. But there's a lot to be done.
Yeah. They are playing in control right now. Not trying to force anything before the moment is right. You know, Dexter just hitting level 6. He evolved his Q, so he's actually not looking for really aggressive ganks. He's looking for more damage, maybe some dragon control, actually. There was a interesting CLG game the last time he played Kha'Zix, where he rushed his Spirit of the Other Lizard, and once Kha'Zix does that, he has pretty much the best dragon soloing in the game. He gets so much health and mana back every time he uses his evolved Q on the dragon that he can solo it for no cost quite quickly. And he actually jumped into the back of the dragon pit all alone and got collapsed on by 3 people and killed. But that's kind of the game plan CLG is going to go with again. They're going to continue the control. They're going to hope to get maybe some dragoning with Dexter, maybe after this bottom lane gank, if Saint and Cop get too aggressive.
Dexter waiting in the wing. They can push in on the siege wave, but I don't think Curse is going to use that for aggression. They're going to get some vision onto Dragon. They know what time it is. It's time to take a little bit more control of the game, and that is going to be the help of a pink ward here. Dominate on the top side to get another deep ward. This could be fought, though. Yeah, untimely roam by CLG. There's 2 people in the top lane. They should just give this away. If they try and contest too hard, they could get caught by Saint Vicious. Minion wave crashing into the turret, but it's nothing that they care about right now. Voyboy is happy to see all of this happen and see Link be forced around the map now. Can't get a kill in the top lane. They're doing very good for themselves. Yeah, you can see Nien has a pretty large CS advantage onto Quas, 86 to 56, and the turret's going to be going down momentarily. That's the Dragon 4 turret trade by CLG. Not too bad. He's trying to let as many minions die as possible while staying in range for the turret gold. So he gets the local gold that the turret gives off as well, 250 when you combine it all together.
Good move. He also went for a Brutalizer, which is more dueling potential, but less lane shove. And I believe Nian is going to want to fight in the next Dragon fight, but continue to bully Quas and keep him down.
Survival of the fittest here in this top lane. It looks like Nian's doing the best so far. Level 8, like you said, Quas is going to start getting those levels under him, and he'll scale a little bit better. Hopefully, for Nian's case, he doesn't turn into a big meat shield. The team is going to need him. It'd be actually good for a meat shield, because you have the Kazakhs and the Blanc, so it doesn't matter if he falls off too hard.
I need that meat shield. He's getting a little deep, though. Let's see if I can turn something here. Brutalizer, not tank stats.
Dominus is on. I don't know if they really want to follow this one. They don't have a turret to run back to, and they don't have vision on Link.
Nian's pretty strong right now. Going to heal up to full with that empowered Q as well.
Quick call to Meek. Just get all his health back. Link back to the mid lane. 107 to 81. LeBlanc really the roamer, but we've also seen players having great CS on her lately with the distortion changes. You're able to get a good wave clear and keep up in CS. So good job by Voyboy keeping that in his favor as the turret goes down in the bottom lane for Counter Logic Gaming. That'll be the second one of the game.
Starting to get some map control. Now the ultimate is down on Nian.
Boom! Right over the wall.
Going
he
over
waits
the pit.
to keep vision. Very nice job. Nian is going to get a nice flash out though.
Yeah, sliced and then flashed. So good move by Nian making that escape. A lot of resources burned by I Will Dominate there. That's where he decides to spend his first gank. Oftentimes, it's a very high percentage kill if you're going to use your Vi ultimate. I actually think it's quite unfortunate for them that they had to use that on the top lane just to stop lane pressure. It means that CLG will continue to have control here.
They did get a flash out in the end, but Dominus is coming back up, so he can still play a little careless, being able to get out of this situation. You can see Quas doing what he can to pressure the top lane. You know, a lot was expected from Quas coming into the season. He has shown he's at his off game, so it's kind of just come about that he's one we still need to watch.
Quas has had an incredibly interesting season.
Yeah.
He had so much hype early on in the season.
A lot of interesting things.
That didn't happen. A lot of hype early on in the season about his unconventional champion pool and how he was going to be this amazing new player in the top lane. But every time he defaults back to the champions that everyone else plays, he's average on most of them. It's when he plays the Gragas and the Jax that he has seen, and even Karthus, he's shown moderates or good amounts of success. But as far as playing the straight-up champions, he has yet to really impress.
Yeah. He does say that he likes to do a lot of innovation. Last week in his interview, he said, you know, I think I'm going to have to turn to a lot more of the meta of what people are playing. And then he did Zac. So to each his own. Had a pretty good game.
It's sad every time players say that, because I really do feel like a lot of the big successes come from challenging things.
Yeah.
Like obviously everyone says, oh, just play the OPs, play what everyone else does. But the people who started those things are often the ones who are the best at it. Faker was one of the first people to do mid lane Riven, and he started dominating on things like that.
Kind of did it when he came over for Worlds, because he thought it would be a good idea.
Against it.
I think this will work. Let's win Worlds with it. 13.5 minutes into the game. We have CLG versus CRS right now. The head-to-head is 2 games in favor of CLG. So just as XDG versus Cloud9, this is where CRS can really start to bring their comeback in. Halfway point is where you got to start.
This is CRS's fatal flaw, though. We're seeing 14 minutes into the game. They've yet to make a good move. And they're slowly letting CLG beat them in lane and in game. Dragon's coming out in about 2 minutes. But everyone on CRS is just staying in lane farming, kind of waiting for something to happen instead of going and making something happen.
This is one of those points in the game where CLG is quite a bit ahead with 2 turrets, the ability to move around the map unscathed. There's a great grab on a St. Vicious. A good placement of that trap, though, kind of stops the extra Q.
Well, this could be a pretty big 5v5 in the jungle. So one of the big times to turn fights around if you catch him in the right choke point. He's taking it with him.
This is mine, thank you. All
right.
That was classy.
It's too bad Dominate got it. Voyboy didn't even get the blue. Still a nice move. Voyboy has done fairly well in lane as far as CS goes. If he wasn't outplayed at the turret there, he'd be feeling much more comfortable. But as you can see, the map control is completely gone, therefore they lose their pink ward. At the Dragon Pit, Aframu gets caught though.
Ooh, Aframu getting hit up very hard, but dominates in a 3v1 right now. Gritting his teeth, he tries to get out of this, and the blue buff goes over to Nian now.
Yeah, that was Dominate not knowing where his team was. His AD carry and top laner had split back into their lanes to try and get some map pressure back before the Dragon, but Dominate thought he'd found himself a fight.
Yeah, They called in the assault and battery real quick. The rest of the cavalry of CLG was able to defend. And we see it was not actually a Deathfire Grasp coming out of Link. He is respecting the damage Void Boy is going to be bringing out. And he goes for the Chalice.
He needs to.
Yeah.
Because Syndra has almost higher single target damage than any other mid laner. When he gets that ultimate out with 5 or 6 orbs. Packs a wallop.
See who he puts that on. We were kind of considering that earlier. Does he go for Dexter with that, or does he go for Link? Dexter's really going to be the first one trying to initiate, and we said he's going to have to choose one person to save. He probably can't save both. He was
Dexter's got that dragon soloing at him right now. If they get this down really quickly, or if they just decide to do the dragon, they can burst it very quickly. They got to be careful not to get caught in Leona ults, though. Saint going in.
Saint is in the middle of the team right now. Link gets out of that entire fight, and they turn it around onto Aphromoo. Saint goes down at the same time as Nian, very low. This blue buff, double buff now getting transferred over to Quaz. And it looks like they make their way out with a good 2-for-1.
Yeah, CLG was split up there, and Saint Vicious found the right fight. Saint Vicious is the guy who's going to go in all the time. Last week, he was a little bit ahead of his team and died in some bad situations. That was a good situation for him to go in and sacrifice his life because his team got a lot of advantage out of it to get the kill and the dragon.
There's a chance, and St. Vicious is there. It will be a call for the let's go.
That'll be a fight.
We talked to Dominate after Saint's first Alistar game, and that's what they were saying. That's what he brings to the team, the let's go.
So Link tried to get some damage down onto him, but could clearly not burst, and then he was backed away. Unless Link is going to go in with the rest of his team, Curse is going to be able to outchase them. Shyvana in teamfights of this nature is ridiculously threatening, especially with the Sunfire Cape, and they just didn't have enough to follow up on Link since they were not together.
Yeah, quickly following up that burnout with a Sunfire. We actually saw last game that it was Benny going for the Blade of the Rune King first, so going with a different build according to what they have to prioritize. The Ninja Tabis are also coming out quite heavy for Dominate and Quaz as well.
A good call on those Ninja Tabi for now. Even though LeBlanc has some pretty devastating silences, the Ninja Tabi will reduce much more damage overall. They want the armor with all the random damage that will be flying around because of the ricochets from Sivir.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Brutalizer now picked up onto Dexter. He's playing Kha'Zix this game. Dominate, not really an item behind. He has some gold in his pocket that he's waiting to spend. Only 229, so yeah, quite behind on Dexter, and only 10 to 10. So the levels aren't discrepancy, just the items. 3 to 2, the kills in favor of Counter Logic Gaming, but their games aren't one to show a lot of kills. It's very methodical map movement, and they just take you out.
They had one game earlier in the season against Curse where they won 4 kills to 0 in about 26 minutes. They'll just grind out the game if possible.
It's a different strategy, playing on the mentality of your opponents as well as physically. Games get pretty strenuous up there, especially when they start to go 40 to 60 minutes. Doublelift taking down the turret in the bottom lane. He's not on split push duty this time. He's with the team.
Yeah, making sure they have the move speed to disengage, and Curse decides to fight them as well because of On the Hunt from Sivir. This is really good from CLG so far. 4 turrets to 0 is something Curse has to fight back on. And it's very tough to find the proper initiations against Sivir. CLG is playing a very tactical game right now. Just rotating around, trying to get as many turrets as possible, and just waiting and daring Curse to try something.
It seems like the brute force of combined ults lately, no matter who they are. We saw the Leona Shyvana last time. It was Benny and Sheep. They still have it on Curse now with Quas and Saint, but they also have Dominate on Vi, so they can start combining all that. We haven't seen them all together once. They've been getting picked off. They've been getting found in their jungle. Because now they're split pushing, they're spread thin, and this is a perfect chance for a pick team to get one of you.
Yeah, but they're just pushed back, you know?
Yeah.
At this point. Curse trying to not give opportunity to get picked off, but in doing so, they're just giving CLG a lot of opportunity to win the game.
Right.
Turrets and farm are accumulating in CLG's favor, and I believe they're fine with this.
They got the wards.
Look at that. They can take the white, they can refresh the blue buff.
Yeah. They got pink wards. Look at that, 2 pink wards just right next to each other. They know they're going to be holding that ground, so the money's going to be worth it. Return on investment will come quickly from that. 20 minutes into the game, they're now at a 3K gold lead, and that's only going to get bigger unless Curse starts to fight back.
CLG's sitting on a lot of gold now as well. Because they've been pushed up for so long, they do not want to relinquish their map pressure because it gives Curse time to get more wards up. You can see, knowing that Link kind of just went back to base, there's a lot of wards now on the red side of Curse's jungle. They're trying to get it back. As soon as CLG shops at their bottom lane, Curse should theoretically get some vision control back in their blue jungle as well. And they need to be able to have vision control in that area for when the next dragon comes up. Yep. We actually saw Curse can win those dragon fights if they get a proper 5v5 engagement with St. Vicious. But because of all the general map pressure that CLG's been putting on, pushing the top lane, pushing the bottom lane, yep. Curse is never able to group up. When the dragon happens is their best chance of that happening again, and Curse needs to have wards in that area when that happens.
Almost turns into what we saw Curse saying the last time they had a situation like this. Can we move to this? No, we can't. All right, we'll wait for the next thing. And piles on itself too much. The shot callers become quiet, and that becomes deadly in itself when there's no communication. Trying to push the mid lane, there's just too much wave clear as well. CounterLogic has that in their pocket too.
Pushing against Sivir is real tough. You actually see Doublelift opted for a Phantom Dancer instead of a Static Shiv. Oftentimes we'll see the Static Shiv on Sivir for even faster wave clear. That's just asking for trouble. You don't need it. Clears super easily with his W and Q.
I like the build coming in from Voidboy. He says, you build the Chalice? All right, I'll build the Deathfire Grasp. He knows that he can get that on-point damage by just clicking Link. Link has to work for it and get himself into the fight. We'll see if that pays off for Voidboy or hurts Voidboy as we get to the game. Blue buff for Link. He'll be all right. He can Distortion and Houdini out and into fights if he needs to. Curse is now staying as a pack. They do not want to spread out.
I like how Caitlyn's just always ult LeBlanc. It's like their only way of fighting back because LeBlanc's just trying to kill AD carries all day. Is when they're 2,000 units away, they're just going to get some damage down. It's actually pretty important too, because if Link is down a little bit, it makes him much more hesitant to fly in on LeBlanc and try and assassinate someone. Luckily, he has that Crystalline Flask from the start of the game, and he's just eating those charges, healing up from the ace in the hole.
Coming out, Link trying to play a little Faga war game, but nobody bites. There's too much ward, too much vision, I should say, for both teams coming on both sides. Level 12 is what we're looking at to be the average around here. Nien actually hit 13 first, so they're not really going to be able to use this fight. The turret going down in the mid lane here for Curse. Doublelift getting pretty close. It looks like they're going to get it.
Dexter was off pressuring. That's not the person they want in the side lane. He doesn't shove lanes very quickly, especially that the dragon is up and Dexter's mana is down. This is a bad timing by CLG. Very unlike their controlled game they played thus far. They're scattered once again for the dragon fight. This could be a power play for Curse if CLG plays this wrong.
St. Fish is going to be the one to go in. They do have Dragon's Descent there. Nien throws himself into the fight. They try to get the hits on. Salt and Battery going to the backside, and it's going to be Link versus Dominate, and he gets obliterated. There's the last hit for the second kill coming in. The first one actually onto Dexter. Double it very low. Gets the Thresh Express out of the fight. The Boomerang. They're just a sliver of health. The double kill for Link. There's the passive in the clone. He may be able to come back into the fight. He was wearing a blue. May have worn off by now, but it looks like Curse doesn't want any more either.
Wow, what a close fight there. The fight was split off in two directions. It was a balance between getting trapped and exploding on someone else. Dexter actually gets peeled off when he tries to go in. Voidboy lands that combo on him, and that's the Cinder DFG damage. Deletes him off the map. Then he tries to go back to the rest of the fight, in which Curse actually gets trapped because Link is now the one who is an assassin on one side, whereas CLG was getting wrecked. But because Quas and Saint were trapped, they ended up getting double killed by Link, and it was just an incredibly close fight.
And after that dance, it looks like Curse takes the floor once again, or CLG rather, and they're going to be able to pick up Dragon. Good gold in their pocket now, 37,000 to 33.4. Top looks to stay out, grab a few more CS. He's not doing too bad, 215 at 0, 0, and 4, but he's going against 247 at 0, 0, and 4 double.
Yeah, I actually think CLG was very lucky to get out of that situation without giving up the dragon. Dexter did not contribute to that fight outside of burning Voidboy spells. Like that's all he did. And tactically,
Operation Meat Shield.
I think it's the jungler's responsibility ultimately to have health and mana to contribute in the dragon fight. It just didn't happen there. So the rest of CLG played that very well, specifically Link, to keep the edges of the fight proper and control the dragon ultimately for CLG.
Dexter has been having a pretty good time on CounterLogic Gaming ever since he locked in his position in the roster. We saw them coming in. They were not able to scrim with him too much before he got out of Europe and over here to America. So with what he's been doing, right now 1-1 and 2, he was full kill participation, but everybody's been getting a little crazy. But he's really been a factor in these games, whether he has high deaths or not. He's the one making big calls for CounterLogic Gaming lately.
He's the decisive one, as Link would call it. Outgoing and decisive are the two attributes he wants for a shot caller on the team, and that's what Dexter brings. for them. Still trying to invade these blue buffs, though. Abort.
Yeah, abort. Oh! Wait a minute, one shot! No. Ooh, little late on the distort. That's all right.
Again, though, Void Boy is denied the blue buff. That's actually pretty key for Syndra because Void Boy, in order to maximize his damage potential on Syndra, wants to continually have as many orbs on the ground as possible, and he can't do that without the mana regeneration from blue buff. Therefore, his burst potential is lower since Dominate had to take that blue for himself.
The little things you know are going to be a crutch of a team. Once they're down, they need those little things like blue buff to get back in the game.
Right now. This could be an initiation by Curse. They really want to go in on this one. Watch for Saint. The Sivir ult's popped preemptively.
There's the shield going down. They go on to double lift. He gets a beautiful lantern out of the fight. The boomerang misses, but CLG is ready to prep this fight again. The end very low. Can they reassess where the damage should go? Dominate in the backside, cannot provide any more crowd control, and Dexter could not get another jump back in.
Very close to finishing off. The tankiest member of CLG was Curse. Void Boy, again, tried to burst him down, but just did not have enough orbs on the ground to finish off Nien. They repel that CLG push at the cost of a bit of turret damage, and everything returns to normal.
Everything returns to normal. Nien, however, not being the tanky he really needs to be. He was almost the first one to go down as well in that fight, along with Dominate. Quas, he was standing quite tall with the initiation. 5-4 as CLG tries to pressure the mid turret, but they're getting pushed off here. They do not want to see this damage of Void Boy. The rest of the team right behind him. It's going to be a scary stampede.
Quas, they need to let Quas auto attack a lot right now. He needs to get his ultimate up as quickly as possible. He's going to run to the top lane and go off and do that.
He's the top. We got Nien going to the bottom lane, and Curse is going to relax back inside the jungle. Link and Dexter actually are on a mission, though. They do not want to stop.
That was scary. I thought he was going to go for a fight right there. But the rest of Curse just trying to defend these turrets, but they're in a bit of a split-pushing situation here where they're trying to get their side lanes in order. Obviously, the name of the game right now is these middle turrets. Who can ever get the second tier and a turret down first gains a huge amount of map control. At the moment, though, Quas is just trying to hold off that bottom. Can Void Boy spike him out?
Oh, it's so low. He couldn't get the Ignite on over the wall, but that's Link not being able to participate in this fight. And CLG is going to have to back off. Pressure in the top lane from Quas. And we see the damage potential coming from Curse right now.
Honestly, though, each individual sphere adds 180 damage to Void Boy's combo. And I think that is another situation where the blue buff not being there and him not having an extra sphere cost them a kill. So the blue buff steals are of utmost importance. Or not even steals, just not letting Void Boy get it are huge.
Enough pressure to make Dominate have to grab it or somebody else. They just want to keep it away from CLG altogether, and it's really hurting them. Double lift to clear out the bottom lane. He is sent to stop and start the split pushes. He's kind of got a dual effect.
Yeah, farming up as much as possible. He really wants that last Whisper, and he's got the gold for it right now. Needs that to get through the Shyvana Vi. Very, very potent dive buddy combos. There's almost 3 people with heavy armor that are going to be coming in. Leona, when you consider her with her shield on. Dominate and Quas. Getting that last Whisper is so important for double lift. He is one of the hardest AD carries to dive if you don't kill him immediately, because his Ricochet is going to be hitting all 3 of them at once and can obliterate tank lines.
Well, like you said, went back and picked up the last Whisper, a CS away from 300 and the highest in the game here as we reach 29 minutes in. Not too many kills for double lift, though. They're all really on Link in the mid lane. Somebody that, you know, did well in the jungle and still doing well in the mid lane. Just goes to show the mechanics and how well-rounded Link is as a player.
Link did pretty well in the jungle. The team was treading water, I think, with him there.
That's true.
But with him in the mid lane and Dexter in the jungle, they are really showing their true potential, as COG fans would like to say.
That play and how they finally practice. Always saying they get wins versus top teams, giving TSM a hard time. Well, they can start this road and get that TSM game down the way. 30 minutes in, 4-2 in turrets. Quas trying to do what he can.
As long as Curse doesn't lose their second tier turrets, this split push by Quas is ridiculously efficient for them. They're finally getting those outer tier turrets down. It's just a matter of how well can Curse hold right here.
Talisman of Ascension and On the Hunt can be used to disengage this fight, and it is going to be enough. Actually, only On the Hunt was used there.
Yeah, but he got blown up right there. Void Boy landed that DFG combo on the magic resist list double lift at that point. How many defensive items do you need? Just enough to not get blown up. And Yen's trying to split push while Curse pushes mid.
More than a summoner barrier, that's for sure. You'll waste a little bit out of double lift, and Yen's going to find some little property control from Dominate here. He wants his base back as they lose second tier turret in mid. And Yen's got to watch out for that Sunfire Cape as he makes his exit out. He's going to be stopped up. Good punch by Dominate. A little back and forth. It looks like CLG is going to try it again, dictate this push mid, and get at least their lanes pushed, because Curse is starting to get in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, that was a very decisive move, all based off of that catch on a double lift. They need to control the Dragon coming up shortly as well to get that gold back in order. And we can really see from a team fight perspective how important it is that CLG establishes strong lines of the battlefield. There's no reason Voyboy should be able to reach a double lift in a team fight. There should be many people in front of him blocking for him. Aframu and Yen should stop Voyboy from getting through to that point.
Whoa! St. Vicious doesn't even get a chance to blink. Voyboy uses the Deathfire Grasp. That's huge damage that he wants in this fight. They're going to try to force it onto him. Nien doesn't have any of that rage up, so it's not going to be full stun. They don't have enough to get.
Without the support, they have to concede this. Back away. Just back away. All right, they're safe.
That's what Vision will do for you. They had the upper hand. They had the sweepers are both down there, I guess. Well, at least not for Dominate, but they did not sweep a bush that they were standing in. Completely out of ward.
That was just LeBlanc damage coming through. Link wait until the right moment. Also, Kha'Zix can burst so hard because Dexter's full offense. And Kha'Zix kills Baron so damn quickly right now. Curse does not have full control. They can see that with the sweeper. They're actually hoping that Curse comes to check to blow someone up. They don't care about the Baron, but the threat that Kha'Zix can take it so fast makes Curse check this.
No, you don't want to do that. This cannot happen again. It's not going to be one after the other. That's going to be big damage onto Dexter. He goes down. Nien's in the back line. 4v1 right now as they take down Dominate. Nien's so hurt, but Quas comes in with the burnout on. The Dragon is bringing the damage. Double Lift and Nien now running for their lives, and there may be the catch here. Whoa, coming from the other side. Link gets a kill for himself, and Cop picks up double.
Huge play by Curse there. Even though Dominate looked like he was checking alone, the team was behind him. So when everything was burned on Dominate, it allowed Curse to turn around on that fight and actually come ahead 3v2. Now they're going to push down mid because they have the advantage.
This is what they were waiting for. The patience pays off. They won't be able to get too much damage on the turret, but let's just watch how they formulate
this again.
This.
Curse was pretty close behind Dominate, and he gets an ultimate off. This is incredibly key that he locked down Dexter before he could jump back out, so they stopped the reset potential. And at that point, Quas played frontline. It did not let anyone catch Voyboy and Cop, the Curse carries, and they wrecked from the back line. Obviously, on the side there, Link still made a pretty big play, but he could not outpace Cop. You could see Cop positioned himself very well there. Since he knew Voyboy was dead, instead of peeling back for the LeBlanc, he positioned himself right in the middle of the two distortions, so whether Link went in or out, he was still dead to Kate.
8-8. Looks like we've evened up the kill score, and Curse gets themselves closer to evening up the turrets as well. They're still down about 4,000 gold exactly right now, and they can now be making moves. And Infinity Edge is very close for Cop. Cop's going to be playing very strong at 292 CS, 2-0-5. He's not 341, but he is picking up kills necessary, and he's only 1 kill participation off all 8 of the game.
Yeah, another very good game we have developing here. Great way to start Week 7 in North American LCS. Big streaks coming from CLG, and they realize this is the moment they have to start coming back in the game. 2 Elixirs of Fortitude picked up by Dexter and Yen. Temporary power increases. They need to be able to repel this push. Expect CLG to try and force something, knowing that Yen has actually just consumed his Elixir. They got to go in soon.
Yeah. They have the tools of engagement, the tools to disengage, Talisman of Ascension, Mikhail's Crucible, double lifts on the hunt. So many extra things they have up their sleeve. But Curse is not giving them any of these opportunities. They're trying to gain back the map before they gain back too much more.
Yeah, so much hinges on St. Fish's initiation. He's actually not that tanky of a Leona. Right now, just the Ruby Sightstone and Ninja Tabi as his tank items. That's the way you block. Base in the hole, Link's still full health. Really, it is so critical which person Voyboy uses his ultimate on. He's been able to get it off on some pretty good targets in the last few fights. Double Lift, very much so, has to keep himself safe here. No defensive items on Sivir, but so much damage.
Both teams on the edge of their seat right now, along with their fans. This could really mean an inhibitor turret if they can get that far into the base. There isn't too good of a push here on minions for Curse, so the fight may just mean Baron or may mean Baron for CLG. A lot of things can happen, and it's only getting more intense. 35 minutes in, it's 3 completed items for the AD carries now on Cop, the Bloodthirster. Static Shiv, still seeing that come out. A lot of AD carries have actually switched over to the Phantom Dancer.
Double Lift is sitting on 2,500 gold as well. He's going for that Infinity Edge. When he gets that, he will leapfrog Cop in damage. Very, very important moments coming in. 35 minutes into the game. Obviously, death time is growing longer and longer. We've got a couple assassin mid laners, one much more mobile than the other. Link with much more target freedom, so to speak, because he can go where he pleases on the block, whereas Voyboy needs to sit back with the protection of his team. But honestly, it is so difficult for Voyboy to excel on Syndra, and despite getting outplayed very early on in the lane, has done a tremendous job staying relevant in this game on Syndra.
Yeah.
Despite being down nearly 100 CS in that top lane, Quas has been an impactful player in team fights on Shyvana. Nien needs to be as tanky as possible, since he is the only true frontline on his team, knowing Dexter is full damage. A lot of very key things going on in this game. Curse lost a lot of towers early, but they've really came back pretty strong on the turret control. So now we just have an incredibly open map where vision control is incredibly key, and specifically, a lot of squishy people that do a lot of damage. This is scary.
See, Chronologic Gaming fans getting a little bit of worried about where CLG stands in this game. Nien is going to go down here, but look at the damage he is doing in a 4v1 situation.
He burned a lot. There's a push on the other side. This could cost them the inhibitor. How much can Quas really do against 4?
Gigantic play for the inhibitor turret going down in the bottom lane.
They all need home guard boots. How? Oh,
Blade out of the Dragon's Descent damage. Link cannot stay for the inhibitor to go down, but that is now open. Dragon's up in 20. They're going to easily grab that up for dinner and make their way back in just a few minutes.
So turret for a kill on Nien, but the Baron buff is up. CLG is actually waiting, hoping the Curse would pull for the Baron, but that is not what ended up happening. Really interesting plays there by CLG, trying to maneuver the map right here, sacrificing Nien in the top lane in order to get a turret.
Voyboy bringing out a 9th different played champion with this Syndra. Really, he also puts a lot on his back for what needs to be done in the compositions.
Double Lift has waited way too long to shop. He has 3,500 gold, but Curse is forcing the Baron now, so he can't spend this. He is effectively really far behind Cop right now, even though he outfarmed him. That Baron's going down fast.
You're going to be able to get this. Cop doesn't even have to enter the pit. He can stay outside with Syndra to make sure anything goes wrong. They have a safety to get out. Now the inhibitor turret in mid is going to go down. CLG is really on the move here, and they're starting to get the organization of the map back.
So they get 2 turrets to give up a Baron. Not necessarily the best moves there by CLG. The farming is just going to continue on both sides. Of course, Double Lift finishes that Infinity Edge, and he's still got 1,500 left after that. So much gold he was able to spend right there. Banshee's Veil, incredibly important. Starts it off with the Spectre's Cowl to maybe if he gets caught out by Syndra once again. It also protects him from the Leona Initiate in these team fights. And even though the kills are very low, there's been a lot of action of late. Gold lead is also fairly heavy in COG's favor, but when you consider the gold value that the Baron buff gives, 40 attack damage and ability power on everyone about, health regeneration, mana regeneration, Curse may actually be up in effective gold right now. And you consider that CLG wasted those 2 Elixirs of Fortitude on the end and Dexter. They did not make any critical movements during that time. Yes, they took down Terrors, but they lost Baron. And if Curse gets a similar amount of towers back, it will all be for waste.
We talk a little bit about low kills. So we talk about teams being so good at disengaging now. Curse has actually been able to avoid fights. Oh, St. Vicious. His warding has gotten some deadly dangerous kills for his team. He's got to be very careful and they don't choose to go on it. So CLG's waiting patiently for Curse here to make a mistake.
You can notice the burst and how CLG is positioning. 2 assassins off in a side rush. Saint is low, but they do not want to initiate on a Baron up team at the moment.
Curse doesn't look like they want to initiate too much in mid lane either. This could be CLG. Now, it does not look like they will start to pursue outside the base. They don't know what the vision of Curse is just yet, so they stay safe.
Yeah, Voyboy is also kind of in desperate need, I think, of a death cap. Now that people are getting a lot of magic resistance. But he's pretty far away from it. He needs a couple thousand more gold. And a lot of the farm is going out on the Cop, because 80 carry prowess is what's going to take down Renekton more so than a Syndra. Syndra really struggles against incredibly strong tanks That's the point that Nien's getting to right now with 350 CS.
Quaz doing what he can here, getting the split push going off the ball, if you will. It looks like as they are 7,000 gold behind, they still, as we said, have that Baron buff stat gold to work with. Pushing the bottom lane, they start to pick up all that turret gold that's been sitting on the map. Making some moves now. Curse may be able to get a few more items that they need to close out this game. CLG wants the same thing, though. These teams are hungry.
Curse is being very careful not to get caught in rotations around the map right now. The expected play was for Curse to go up and take the other outer turret. That's why they've looped back, hoping to catch CLG defending, but they're just going to try and siege down maybe this inhibitor turret, thinking they can get the other turret later. If they get a catch with the Voyboy Scatter the Weak into a stun, they might decide to go, but it'll be very, very risky, especially when Saint takes damage like that.
Good shield by Double Lift.
They have to go back.
That damage saved off. They start putting down the traps so Cop can stop somewhat of the initiation for his team. Such a stalemate, waiting for wave on wave to come. The first mistake to happen, somebody to make that move. Don't even see that Link or Dexter are trying to put themselves in the spot to get that fight right now. They know they just need to stave off the aggression, wait for Curse to back off.
Just an incredibly tense game, I'd have to say. Knowing that at any moment, if you check the wrong spot and don't have a ward, the game could be over.
The map's quite dark.
Yeah. Link could completely blow someone up. Double Lift is at max damage items. Cop is at max damage items. They're both working on those Banshee spells. Double Lift has been completed. Quas has also went full tank Shyvana instead of Blade of the Ruin King Shyvana. I think that's the right choice in this situation.
It's going to be tough to kill. Maybe a focus more or so of Link and Dexter when they get the chance. Not the beginning of the fight. I'm sure Quas will put him in that spot to force that focus. But for now, it's Double Lift trying to keep himself alive. He's got good peel from Aframu so far. We know one of the Rush Hour being one of the top compositions for bottom lane. And trying to carry it through on this game. Double Lift at 439. That means this game is going quite long, and Curse has been surprisingly making a nice comeback here.
Yeah, as far as map positioning and control goes, huge. Their gold hasn't really increased much, but as we approach this point in the game, the gold matters less and less. Powering down that turret, they knew they'd be able to go back for it later, even though their Baron buff is down. The turret's basically equalized now, aside from that exposed inhibitor on the bottom side for Curse. CLG just has been losing control.
Yeah, steadily.
This game. Yeah, they had so many turrets early, and Curse is now coming back. It's almost the opposite of the last CLG Curse game. If you remember, where Curse had a really fast push composition, they brought Jan and Nunu Jinx and just really shoved in CLG. They had like 6 turrets down, and then CLG got a flank attack in the mid game, and were able to come back with superior team fighting. At this point, even though CLG doesn't have a fully push composition, the push of Sivir really gave them a lot of early turrets, and the inactivity of Curse pushed them back a little bit. But then I think Curse got a couple key catches with Voyboy, specifically catching out Double Lift once. Another one where they just positioned well around the Baron Pit. It was like a counter catch because CLG was trying to win the game. And just those 2 moments have really swung the control around for Curse. They are dissuading CLG from trying again. The vision control is gone, and Curse is really taking control now.
That little tit for tat where Link was pushed out as well in the mid lane, that is the vision that has been given Curse his power, like you said. We'll see if they can continue that. The sweepers trying to be used here. Nien throws his down to get some safety. They have actually been on their side of the map, CounterLogic Gaming has, for quite some time here. They were in the face of Curse for the majority of the game, but now Curse is saying we're not having any more of that. Cop's been in a safe spot. You can see the red elixir ticking away on him, as well as Dominate. Everybody's trying to get that last bit of damage in, because these fights are going to mean the game.
This is really interesting. CLG is trying to get an inhibitor and maybe more in order to pull Curse off the Baron. They pulled this trade last time, did not get the inhibitor. I don't know how much value this inhibitor is actually going to grant them. Curse can burst down this Baron very quickly and then still probably make it for a defense. Because COD hasn't even started their push yet.
Nope. They were trying for the timer. They didn't want any early vision. Where does the ping come down? They slice and dice the wave with the help of Nien. Dragon, or Baron rather, is going to be very close to going down.
The plan is for Link to disrupt them from going back. Let's see how long he can last.
Assault battery. He gets another ult though.
Not long.
Dragon's descent. The inhibitor's going to go down. Looks like they get what they had.
Well, at least they got the Baron out of, or the inhibitor out of it, but the gold is lower. And Curse can easily push that lane out with how much power they have in Caitlyn. Interesting call by CLG. I can't necessarily say I agree. Baron with Curse, depending on what they did with the last one, is slowly bringing them back in this game. And unless Link could disrupt longer and CLG could make a push to nearly end the game, but he died far too quickly.
See what CLG
unless they make the return attack. They do not want to opt into a base race, but I think they could. They're closer, and they already have the down inhibitor. Are they going to go? They got to make up their mind.
Nian's itching. Nobody's in the base right now. They're going to have full turrets. They're going to go for the race. No, we have Cop going back on Caitlyn. Everybody's going to start going back now. Here we go. CLG has no minions, so this is going to be very back and forth, or it might just be very back to start off.
Well, not everyone on Curse has responded. This could still happen if they turn. It's a base standoff right now.
The base stalemate indeed happens. It's a turret taken down for the inhibitor, so they almost equal out the effect, but they don't take down the inhibitor after the turret, so they're still open on that bottom side of the map for Curse. A little bit of an advantage, but good play there.
I feel like CLG is outsmarting themselves right now. They're trying to be cute with their plays, when I think with the Sivir, they could have had a superior team fights about 25 minutes ago, but because they've tried so many cute plays, oh, let's trick them, let's backdoor their nexus, let's hide in that brush in the bottom lane, it's costing them a lot of resources, and the gold continues to grow back for Curse. Curse continues to come back in the game, and they continue to get objectives back. Sure, the inhibitor's down, but the lane is never going to push for them because they are not strong enough to teamfight them head-on, and Curse is slowly clawing back in this game.
4 out of 6 dragons for CLG, with none of the Barons being in their favor just yet, but doing what they can to stop those Barons. It hasn't been too much. Curse pulls back. They're only 4,000 gold behind, and we see the Scrying Orb coming out. Double.
Interesting. They've lost vision control, so they've went with 2 Scrying Orbs. I think this is the ultimate evolution of trinkets, by the way. Everyone starts with the warding trinkets. Mid-game, they go for the sweepers. Really late game, they got to go for the Scrying Orbs because it is so much more important to not get caught warding, and the increased range of the Scrying Orbs can give them vision when they need it most. With double Scrying Orbs, with the range they have at this point in the game, as an example, 3,000 units away. When you upgrade it, which Dexter has done, he has the Farsight Orb, 3,000 range means you will never get caught out with a ward control check at Baron. If you really need to see Baron, you can just throw down the Scrying Orb and see exactly where it's going.
Looks like they take...
Kobe would be pleased.
Go for the safe route for now. They're going to head back. Nothing really to take. The map is objective free at this point. Going to go ahead and get some buffs cleared up. This was actually there before. The Cop only laid down to trap. Maybe they were trying to kind of bait out an attack on the red buff and go back onto CLG. Nobody bites that bait, though. 10-8 at 42 minutes in. Both teams are saying, let's get everything we can in the jungle. And I don't know why, because it's not going to do them much right now. But at least they're getting the camps.
They're just trying to reach their full item builds right now. Dominate, actually using those slots for extra wards. He hasn't been farming too much. Quas could still use one more tank item. He's actually going Blade of the last. He just built that Bam Scepter. Magic is just being picked up by Boy. Very critical. He can't get completely bursted out by Link. I think even with that Negatron Cloak, he could get bursted out. Curse is right now waiting for their inhibitor to come back up. And then in turn, we'll be waiting for the Baron to come back up. And we will then get to see probably round 3 of CLG going bot lane and Curse taking Baron. So far, Curse is up 2-0 because those Barons have definitely benefited them more than CLG taking a turret and an inhibitor.
Gold lead so close. Both games today have been absolutely awesome and keeping it close between both teams. Infinity Edges are up for the AD carries. Rabadons are up for the AP carries. The top laners are doing what they do. They're pretty tanky. 50 minutes into this one. It's only 7-7 in turrets, which means 4 are on the map for each team. 2 of those being the Nexus turrets so far. But like you said, wait for the Baron. Everybody's kind of figuring out what to do. We haven't really seen Curse initiate too many fights unless CLG has already blown in a summoner spell or done something to promote that.
It's been a very standoffish last 25 minutes of the game or so because CLG is continually trying to get this cute play in. They were trying to sneak in behind Curse and get a turret down, but they're the ones with an exposed inhibitor right now. Everyone going back in the base to stop this Curse push.
Inhibitor is in the bottom lane. It has spawn on Curse's side, but it looks like CLG is about to lose theirs. The Baron is up in a minute and 30, and right now with the amount of timers, that would be close.
They're trying to pop Banshee's Veil, so Link can go in.
Well, that's going to be a distortion, and Void goes down instantly. Everything that Link had went onto him. Dominate is going to go down in this fight. CLG's in their base, but they're going to have a long time to run coast to coast after this demolish. It's going to be Cop going down as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, and almost a fifth as Quas is just too tanky, but out of the fight.
After that much waiting, the fact that Link could just win it for his team. They don't care about Quas. I don't think they do. That was a sneaky move. They don't care because Void just got obliterated. Link used everything perfectly, and no one was able to stop him from bursting him down. Look at these death timers, 40 seconds all around. They do not have minions, but they're going to try and brute force down these turrets. Let's see how much they can get.
A very long timer. Sometimes you just know. The team actually goes focus on the middle turret. Hopefully they have enough to get through these waves, as well as tank enough. Dexter is pretty big. They may be able to use the shield coming
right here. They have 2 minions in the mid lane. That's why they took that down. That will reduce the turret's armor and MR. They can take these down.
They're going to lock it up. The minions are being huge in that play for what they bring to the turrets. Quas doing what he can. Counter Logic Gaming pursuing the win and finally finding it after taking the high and very long road in a 51-minute game versus Curse.
Yeah, CLG almost let that one get away from them, but Link came through in the end. Our week 6 MVP, maybe week 5 MVP. MVP of that game for sure, because he just wrecked Void single-handedly. He went in pretty much 1v5 and won them the game.
Kind of comes down to that point in time when you consider what's going to happen from an initiation. How's it going to work? And it's going to happen by somebody throwing themselves completely into the fight.
Yeah.
Nobody knew the result of that one. We didn't even know that Void went down. Link had it in his mind. That must have been the communication that we have to wait until Void steps out of line.
They got the home guard boots down. You could see Curse was worrying about the inhibitor a little too much after that crazy 51-minute game. I think so much waiting. Void got a little bit lazy, and